They ridiculed the human, until it was bring your pet to school day. They thought humanity was fragile, incapable of true strategy, and easy to dismiss. They were wrong. They thought humanity would break. They were wrong. We were just getting started, Commander Elias muttered under his breath, eyes scanning the alien fleet orbiting the ruined-out city. The sky shimmered with unnatural hues, a tangle of violet and green nebula clouds drifting across the horizon, casting eerie reflections off the shattered skyscrapers below. Elias's boots crunched over debris as he moved between the remains of what once was a thriving metropolis. The alien patrol drones hovered silently above, their sleek metallic surfaces glinting menacingly in the harsh daylight. "Do you really think they'll take the bait?" Lieutenant Mara asked, her tone equal parts curiosity and unease. Her eyes, sharp and calculating, followed the movement of the drones like a hawk. "These aren't simple scouts. They know every tactic we've tried before." Elias adjusted his armored gauntlet, feeling the reassuring weight of the human-engineered suit that had already withstood multiple direct strikes from the alien plasma cannons. The aliens had mocked the armor, calling it primitive, too heavy to be practical. And yet, each blast had ricocheted harmlessly off its reinforced plating. Not even a scratch. Humanity's ingenuity had held firm where alien arrogance had expected ruin. "They'll underestimate us. That's their flaw," Elias replied. His gaze drifted toward the horizon, where the lead alien warship loomed like a dark mountain floating in the sky. Its hull was bristling with weapons, plasma turrets, missile pods, and strange energy emitters that hummed with lethal promise. The aliens believed power was in size and firepower. Humans knew better. Strategy, improvisation, and adaptability mattered far more than raw destruction. A sudden vibration through the ground made both humans freeze. The city trembled as an alien scout ship descended rapidly, its repulsor engines creating a small dust storm. Mara's hand instinctively went to the sidearm mounted on her armor, though both knew it was largely symbolic against such technology. Still, the human mind, unpredictable and clever, was the true weapon. "Remember," Elias whispered, almost to himself, "our advantage isn't strength, it's thinking." They moved through the ruins carefully, each step deliberate, each decision weighed against possibilities the aliens could never anticipate. Around them, the city's skeletal towers reflected the sunlight in broken shards, casting jagged shadows that danced across the cracked streets. Occasionally, a stray drone hovered nearby, scanning, calculating, assessing. Every moment was a test, every glance a potential threat. Mara broke the silence. "Do you ever wonder if we're too small for this?" Her voice was steady but carried the weight of human doubt, the kind that had haunted every soldier who faced the infinite expanse of alien might. Elias shook his head, though he understood the feeling intimately. Size doesn't win battles. Mind does. And we've survived so far because humans think differently. Ahead, they reached a collapsed overpass that would have been impossible to a mechanized unit but was perfect for human maneuvering. Elias glanced at Mara. "This is our path. The aliens see barriers as absolute, limitations as final. But we see opportunity." A sudden flash of light drew their attention upward. One of the alien drones, likely trying to intimidate or flush them out, unleashed a plasma sweep across the street. Elias's armor absorbed the energy with a faint hum. Sparks danced harmlessly along the surface, and Mara allowed herself a short, relieved breath. Not even a scratch. Again, humanity endured where the aliens expected instant ruin. Elias crouched beside a fractured wall, the city's ruins providing cover. "We have hours, maybe less, before they realize their assumptions are wrong," he said. "We'll need every trick, every calculation, every risk we're willing to take. They'll expect fear, we'll give them strategy." As the sun climbed higher, casting a brilliant, almost defiant light across the scarred metropolis, Elias's mind raced. Every move, every choice, had to count. Every human strength, creativity, resilience, courage, would soon be tested to the limit. The aliens believed they had already won, that humanity was small, weak, predictable. Yet here, beneath alien scrutiny, amidst chaos and ruin, humans prepared to prove otherwise. Mara adjusted her visor, scanning the skyline for the next challenge. "So, what's the first move?" she asked. Elias smiled faintly, a mixture of grim determination and quiet confidence. "First," he said, "we remind them why humans are never what they expect." And with that, humanity's subtle, ingenious counterattack began, a single spark of strategy in a galaxy that had assumed they were already extinguished. The wind carried the faint hum of alien engines, a constant reminder that the humans were still being watched. Elias crouched behind the fractured remains of what had once been a cultural center, the air thick with dust and the scent of scorched metal. He could hear Mara's boots scuffing softly across broken concrete, the only other sound in the silent battlefield. Every movement mattered. Every decision could tilt the odds. From above, the alien fleet gleamed like a swarm of deadly stars. Their warships floated effortlessly, bristling with weapons no human mind had seen in its entirety. Smaller drones darted between the vessels, scanning for any sign of human activity. To the aliens, this was a game, a simple hunt. To humans, every step was a calculated risk, every breath a potential advantage. Mara glanced at Elias, her eyes narrowed. "They are consolidating," she said. "I think they know something's wrong with their data. Their predictions aren't matching what they see on the ground." Elias's jaw tightened. "They underestimated our mobility, our ability to adapt. They think predictability is human nature. They are wrong. Every hesitation, every misstep they expect from us, we turn into an opportunity." A shadow swept across the street as an alien scout unit descended. Its hull was angular, almost crystalline, glowing faintly with energy lines. Mara tensed, reaching instinctively for her sidearm. Elias raised a hand, signaling her to hold. They waited. The scout moved like a predator, scanning, calculating, but it passed over them. It assumed humans would hide, cower, or retreat. Yet these humans did not flinch. They had learned the value of patience, of waiting for the perfect moment to act. Elias crouched lower, whispering, "This is the advantage of thought. They move with force. We move with reason." The streets were a labyrinth of shattered glass, collapsed bridges, and twisted steel. Every turn presented a potential trap, but also a potential path forward. Humans had spent centuries adapting to chaos, turning adversity into opportunity. Even in the ruins of their own cities, they found ways to fight back. Hours passed in tense silence, punctuated by the occasional pulse of alien weaponry against distant structures. The humans moved cautiously, improvising bridges from debris, sliding along walls to avoid detection. Each small victory, like passing a drone undetected or redirecting a patrol unit, was a reminder that their ingenuity mattered more than raw strength. Yet even amidst tactical success, doubts crept in. Mara paused atop a collapsed building, looking down at the street below. "Do you ever feel outmatched?" she asked quietly. "I mean, look at them. Their technology, their firepower, it's beyond anything we've faced." Elias studied her for a moment, his face set in shadows. "Outmatched in tools, yes. But not in mind. They forget that humans are unpredictable. They forget that humans learn, adapt, and improvise in ways machines cannot." He gestured to the horizon, where the alien fleet's shadow stretched across the city. "Every time they think they've cornered us, they are already behind." The alien fleet shifted suddenly, like a living organism sensing weakness. A new wave of patrol drones poured into the streets, sweeping systematically. The humans froze in place, blending into the ruins. One misstep, one noise, could give them away. Heartbeats echoed louder than any alarm system. Mara's hand gripped her gauntlet tighter. "We can't keep this up forever," she said. "Eventually, they'll adapt too." Elias nodded slowly. "Yes, and that's why we need more than hiding. We need to create opportunities, force them into decisions, make them miscalculate. That's how humans survive against impossible odds." A sharp whine filled the air, a plasma cannon charging somewhere above. Elias ducked instinctively as Mara pulled him behind a wall fragment. The blast hit the ground a few meters away, sending rubble and dust into the air. The force rattled their armor, but not a scratch marked their protective plating. "Not even a scratch," Mara muttered with a mixture of relief and incredulity. Humanity had survived strikes that would have vaporized lesser beings. They had taken alien superiority and turned it against them, using nothing but intellect, timing, and improvisation. The hours stretched on, tension building with every passing minute. Humans navigated a world that was literally collapsing around them, while the aliens struggled to understand why their overwhelming power was failing. Miscalculations on the alien side created minor victories for humanity, but Elias knew they had only scratched the surface of the battle to come. Finally, as the sun dipped lower, casting long, defiant shadows across the ruined city, Elias looked at Mara. "We've held our own today. But tomorrow will make them question everything they think they know about us." Mara nodded, her eyes reflecting the dying light and the faint shimmer of alien warships above. "Then let's make them rethink humanity." And in that moment, amidst ruin, fear, and overwhelming odds, the humans remembered why they were never truly weak. Adaptable, clever, and relentless, they were already turning the tide in ways the aliens could not yet comprehend. The city had grown eerily quiet. Dust hung thick in the air, glittering faintly as stray beams of sunlight pierced the ruined skyline. Elias and Mara moved carefully through the skeletal streets, their senses sharpened, every sound amplified by the tension around them. The alien drones had grown more aggressive, their patrols unpredictable, forcing humans into improvisation at every turn. Elias paused at a collapsed plaza, scanning the horizon. "They are learning," he said, voice tight. "They've started anticipating patterns we've used before. We can't rely on routine anymore." Mara frowned, her hand brushing a jagged piece of metal as she steadied herself. "We've been lucky," she said softly. "Every advantage we've had so far, it's not strategy, it's survival by chance. How long can we keep it up?" Elias looked at her, seeing not doubt but the weight of responsibility reflected in her eyes. "Not by chance," he corrected. "By observation. By thinking 3 moves ahead while they assume there's only one. Luck isn't part of this equation." Yet even he felt the pressure, gnawing at the edges of certainty. Every calculated risk carried the weight of countless lives. Suddenly, a deafening roar split the air. From the sky, a massive alien assault craft descended, faster and larger than any they had encountered. Its energy cannons charged with an ominous glow, capable of leveling entire blocks. The drones, which had been intimidating enough, now looked almost fragile in comparison. Mara swore under her breath. "They are escalating. They want to break us, physically, mentally." Elias ducked behind a fractured column, studying the assault craft's trajectory. "They'll try to force a direct confrontation," he said. "If they push too hard, it'll expose vulnerabilities. Theirs, not ours." But exposure came at a cost. As the craft unleashed a sweeping energy beam across the plaza, debris rained down. Mara dove instinctively, pulling Elias with her behind a protective wall. The force rattled their armor but, as always, their human-engineered suits held firm. Not a scratch. The aliens had underestimated human resilience yet again. For a moment, relief flickered across their faces, quickly replaced by the grim calculation of next moves. Elias knew they could not simply survive on defense forever. Every second they delayed, the aliens adapted, adjusting their patterns, predicting human behavior more accurately. "Elias," Mara said quietly, tension lining her voice. "There's something else." She pointed to the street ahead. A figure emerged from the shadows of a ruined building, another human, but one they hadn't expected. He was one of their own, yet something was wrong. "Traitor?" Elias asked, his mind racing. Betrayal was a human weakness the aliens would exploit if given a chance. The figure stepped forward, hands raised in a gesture of peace, but the look in his eyes was unreadable. "I'm not your enemy," he said. "But you have to trust me. I've found a way past their surveillance." Elias's jaw tightened. "How do we know this isn't a trap?" The man swallowed hard. "Because it's the only way to turn the tide. They think they've cornered you. They haven't seen this coming." Every instinct screamed caution. Yet, in the tense calculus of survival, sometimes taking a risk was the only option. Elias nodded slowly. "Fine. But one wrong move." "No wrong moves," the man interrupted, a hint of urgency in his voice. "We need precision. They are already learning from every minor setback. If we misstep, the humans you saved, all of it could be lost. The trio moved through the streets like shadows, avoiding drones, ducking under rubble, and improvising every step. Minor victories littered their path, a disabled patrol unit here, a miscalculated sweep there. Each success was a spark of hope, a reminder that human ingenuity could still surprise the superior alien forces. Yet doubt lingered. Mara's hand brushed against Elias's shoulder. "Do you ever feel alone in this?" Elias shook his head, though the feeling of isolation gnawed at him. "No. Strategy isn't about numbers. It's about choices. Even if we're the only ones who understand what's happening, that's enough." Then, without warning, a pulse of energy slammed into the street nearby. A minor victory turned into chaos as rubble shifted and the ground trembled. The humans ducked instinctively, hearts hammering, knowing any error could mean death. Yet through the fear, through the adrenaline, Elias felt the familiar surge of clarity. This was what made humans dangerous, the ability to calculate, improvise, and act under pressure. They reached a vantage point overlooking the alien command drone, its glowing core spinning as it transmitted signals to the larger fleet. Elias studied it carefully. This is it. The key to their operation. Mara's eyes widened. "We take it down, we shift the balance." Elias nodded. "We hit precisely, we mislead, and we survive where they expected easy victory. But one wrong step." His voice trailed, but the implication was clear. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows over the shattered city, the humans readied themselves. Fear, doubt, and danger pressed on all sides. But within that pressure, they thrived, adaptable, clever, and relentless. The aliens believed victory was theirs. They were wrong, and humanity's first major counterstrike was about to begin. The alien command drone hovered above the ruined city, its glowing core pulsating like a heartbeat. It had already adapted to every feint, every minor maneuver the humans had thrown at it. Yet Elias knew they hadn't seen everything humanity had prepared. "Remember," Elias whispered to Mara and the other human operative, "this isn't just about firepower. It's about mind, improvisation, and timing. Everything hinges on precision." They moved into position, using the shattered skyline as cover. Mara adjusted her visor, calculating trajectories and angles in real time. "We're exposed for too long," she murmured. "The moment we act, they'll detect us." Elias smiled faintly. "Let them. They'll underestimate what humans do under pressure." The humans were small, almost insignificant against the massive alien fleet above, but the beauty of their plan lay in subtlety. They had studied alien patterns for hours, noted every weakness in sensor sweeps, and mapped escape routes with meticulous care. It wasn't brute force. It was a precise strike designed to exploit alien assumptions about human predictability. Elias extended his hand, signaling the other two. "Now." Mara launched a microdrone from her wrist, a sleek human-designed device that the aliens had never encountered. It darted toward the command drone, invisible to most alien senses. The device emitted a complex signal, feeding false coordinates and data into the alien fleet's navigation systems. Screens inside the massive warships flickered as algorithms struggled to process conflicting information. The alien fleet shuddered, a ripple of confusion spreading among the drones and smaller vessels. The humans had exploited the one thing aliens never anticipated: creativity. Elias activated the next stage of their plan. His armor's electromagnetic pulse generator charged silently, hidden beneath reinforced plating. A subtle hum grew, almost imperceptible, until a sudden pulse erupted from the device. It disabled the nearby drones temporarily, leaving them drifting uselessly in mid-air. Sparks flew from exposed circuits as alien systems scrambled to recover. "Not even a scratch," Mara muttered, scanning the battlefield. Elias grinned. Humanity had survived every direct assault, and now their ingenuity was turning the tide. From above, the command drone's operators, or what passed for operators, panicked. Calculations and assumptions that had guided their conquest crumbled under a human mind they had dismissed. The massive alien assault craft shuddered as minor systems failed, unable to adapt to the sudden, precise chaos humans had unleashed. Elias seized the moment. He sprinted across the plaza, dodging falling debris, weaving through the skeletal remains of buildings. Mara and their operative followed, their movements synchronized like a perfectly rehearsed strategy. At the base of the command drone, Elias deployed a human-engineered tether, attaching it to a weak point they had discovered in the alien hull. A countdown in his mind ticked silently. This was it, the culmination of every minor victory, every improvisation, every calculated risk. With a precise gesture, he triggered the tether's overload. A controlled chain reaction coursed through the drone's core. Energy arcs danced along its surface, cascading into nearby units. The alien fleet's order collapsed in an instant. Drones collided mid-air, warships veered off course, and the assault craft above wobbled dangerously. The aliens had never expected humans to manipulate their systems in such a way. Shock, fear, and confusion rippled through the command ranks. Mara's voice came through, steady and sharp. "Elias, they are trying to regroup." Elias shook his head. "Let them. Every attempt to correct will only amplify our advantage." They assumed humans would panic, would make mistakes. They didn't account for patience, strategy, and creativity under pressure. In the streets below, humans watched from cover as the alien fleet faltered. Civilians had already begun emerging from shelters, their hope reignited by the unexpected turn. Humanity had endured, adapted, and now, through ingenuity, demonstrated that even the most advanced alien force could be outsmarted. The command drone, now disabled and helpless, hovered like a fallen god. Elias stood over it, the weight of the city's destruction and survival pressing against him. For the first time in hours, he allowed himself a breath, knowing that humans had not only survived but had proven something far greater than brute strength. Mara approached, her expression a mixture of relief and awe. "We did it," she said simply. Elias nodded. "We did. But this isn't just survival. This is proof that humanity isn't predictable, isn't weak, and will never be underestimated again." Above, the remaining alien fleet hesitated. Their arrogance had been shattered, replaced by disbelief. Every calculation, every assumption about human fragility had failed spectacularly. Humanity had shown them something new, that intellect, ingenuity, and courage were weapons the aliens could neither anticipate nor overpower. The sun broke through the nebula-streaked sky, casting a warm glow over the ruined city. It illuminated the armored humans, standing tall amidst chaos, survivors not by luck, but by strategy. They were a reminder to the galaxy. Humans were not to be mocked, ridiculed, or underestimated. And somewhere in the distance, beyond the alien vessels, humanity's next move was already forming. A plan, a spark of ingenuity, a promise that the galaxy had only just begun to see what humans were capable of. The alien fleet had withdrawn, leaving the city bathed in sunlight that seemed impossibly bright after weeks of smoke, fire, and the hum of energy weapons. The ruins no longer felt like a graveyard. Instead, they were a testament, a monument to human resilience, intellect, and courage. Elias stepped carefully over twisted metal and shattered concrete, his armored boots echoing softly against the debris. Mara followed, scanning the horizon, her visor reflecting streaks of sunlight that danced across the ruined skyscrapers. Even amidst devastation, they moved with purpose. Humans never merely survived. They adapted. "Do you ever think they'll come back?" Mara asked, voice quieter than usual. The weight of the battle lingered in her tone. Elias considered this, eyes narrowing as he observed the distant alien vessels retreating toward orbit. "Maybe," he said. "But they won't make the same mistake twice. They'll approach differently, and that's why we have to be ready. They'll underestimate us again, though they always do." In the streets, survivors emerged cautiously from hiding. Families, scientists, and engineers, all witnessing the result of what humanity could achieve when intellect, strategy, and courage combined. Children stared wide-eyed at the armored humans moving through the ruins, their heroes tangible in a way history books could never capture. Elias knelt to inspect a broken drone left behind. Its systems had been clever, almost elegant, in design. Yet it had been outsmarted. Humanity had turned the invincible into the vulnerable, not through brute force, but through creativity, improvisation, and precise action. Mara approached, placing a hand on his shoulder. "We actually did it. We held our own, and more. We proved them wrong." Elias allowed himself a faint smile. We didn't just hold our own. We showed the galaxy that humans aren't predictable, aren't fragile, and aren't to be underestimated. Not even close. The other human operative, who had guided them through the labyrinth of ruined streets, nodded solemnly. The aliens will remember this, he said. Not just for the fight, but for the way humans think. They'll never approach the next battle the same way. A gentle breeze stirred through the skeletal buildings, carrying the faint smell of scorched metal and dust, but also a hint of renewal. Elias surveyed the horizon, the sun striking the tallest ruins, birds beginning to return, smoke drifting lazily from the fires slowly dying. The city, though broken, was alive again, much like its people. Do you think it will change them? Mara asked. The survivors, I mean. Will they see what humans can do? Elias studied her, then gestured to the streets. They'll see it, yes. And it will inspire them. Not just fear of the aliens, but respect for what we're capable of, courage, intellect, resilience. Humans learn fast. We adapt faster. That's our real weapon. A faint hum came from the distance, the alien fleet still retreating, a reminder that the galaxy beyond was vast and dangerous. Yet it no longer seemed insurmountable. Humans had survived overwhelming odds, endured attacks that would have obliterated other species, and turned near defeat into triumph. Elias looked at Mara and the other operative, his voice calm but resolute. This isn't the end. It's the beginning. Every strategy, every lesson, every victory, small or large, prepares us for what's next. They'll come again, and next time, they'll be ready, but so will we. Mara nodded, determination sparking in her eyes. Then let them come. We're ready. The sun climbed higher, casting long shadows behind the armored humans as they moved through the streets. Civilians cheered quietly from the edges of rubble, a mix of relief and admiration in their eyes. The humans had survived because of strategy, because of intellect, because they refused to yield. Elias paused atop a partially collapsed overpass, looking at the horizon streaked with alien trails. They assumed we would break, he murmured to himself. But we didn't, and we never will. Even as the city slowly began to rebuild, humanity's resolve hardened. They had endured the impossible, outwitted an invincible force, and proven their worth to the stars. The galaxy had learned a simple truth. Humans were relentless, resourceful, and unpredictable. And as long as there were humans willing to think, to adapt, and to fight, the future belonged to them. A future filled with hope, ingenuity, and the promise that no enemy, no matter how powerful, would ever underestimate humanity again. Elias extended a hand toward the rising sun, feeling the warmth and possibility it promised. This is only the beginning, he said, a quiet determination in his voice. The galaxy hasn't seen the last of us. And somewhere beyond the stars, the aliens would remember this day, the day humanity refused to break, the day they revealed the strength of the mind, the courage of the heart, and the relentless ingenuity that made humans unstoppable.